Peace to everybody on the planet. Rob Blackstorm, and I make spirituality and occult learning simple. What I'm talking about today is I just was inspired. It is the eclipse today when I'm recording this on the 26th, and new moon energy. New moon took place after 11 p.m. last night here on the East Coast, and the eclipse was sometime early this morning as well. So I am feeling the energy today and going to record. And what I wanted to talk about today is, or this evening rather, so I want to talk about why we're involved in spirituality. What is the purpose? Why are we doing this? And I think a lot of times, we leave Christianity, we leave secular religion, things that we got from our mothers and fathers and grandma and grandpa and things like that. And we come into the knowledge of ourselves. We realize that the Bible has some holes in it, the Quran has some holes in it, and we start diving into other philosophies, other realms of thought, right? And what we're trying to do is find the meaning of life, find our purpose. Why are we here? What's the reason that we are here in this fleshly body? Why did we come on earth? That's ultimately what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to the answer to that question, right? And we go through these philosophies, some good, some bad. And let's say all of them are good, right? Because every philosophy, every train of thought, even religion, every religion has truth in it. If it didn't have truth, you wouldn't be involved in it. So every religion has some truth in it. Every way of life has some truth in it as well. And every religion and every way of life has some falsehood as well. There's some things that don't resonate, especially with me. I find when you are in an organization or a religion or a path or a way of life, usually the leader of that organization has his followers doing things that somehow restrict the way you live your life, and these things may just be an urge that's in you that's not harming anything or anyone, but the teacher doesn't want you to acknowledge that urge because maybe in a teacher that's something that they themselves had to conquer, or they themselves just don't agree with at all, right? It could be a personal philosophy that they're ascribing spiritually to the group. So when we're on this quest, or we're trying to find out what life is and our purpose in this life, like what are we supposed to do? What's our purpose? And also, what are we here to accomplish? We have to realize that the whole goal of this is not to make money, not to get rich, although that should be a part of it, right? This universe is abundant. The planet Earth is abundant. It dwells in abundance. And we should want to be in alignment with abundance and be in alignment with getting currency. We don't want to have a poverty mindset and think, oh, it's only for the rich people, because you could be one of the rich people. And instead of, as a lot of us like to do, pointing and saying, oh, this celebrity should do X, Y, Z with their money, or what if all the celebrities came together and did X, Y, Z with their money? You're counting another man or woman's pockets. You're pocket watching. And what you should be doing is trying to figure out how X, Y, Z made their money so that you can make the same amount of money, or figure out a better way to make that amount of money. So therefore, you could be that celebrity, or you could be that person, or you could be that influencer that makes things happen. Don't talk about it, be about it, right? So coming into the space of spirituality is you trying to get in tune with your inner self. But what is that inner self? What does that mean? My inside. I'm trying to get in touch with spirituality. I'm trying to, I'm woke, I'm conscious. What does that really mean? To get in tune with your spirituality is getting in tune with the divinity that is within you. It's not about praying to a god. It's not about worshiping a deity. It's not about casting spells. It's not about doing readings. It's not about burning candles or incense. It's not about certain foods. It's not about altars. It's not about offerings of food. It's not about mantras or chants. It's not even about kundalini or chi or prana or ra. What all these things are tools. All these things that I just said are tools that are designed to get you to the point where you are making your subconscious conscious in your everyday life. And that is the goal of this spiritual path, to make your subconscious conscious in your waking everyday life. Why? Why do you want to make your subconscious conscious? What does that mean? Well, we have to look at which one is more powerful, right? People tell you to trust your gut because innately we know that the best advice comes from our inside, comes from our gut, right? Comes from the belly. The belly or the abdomen, the gut that they're talking about, is also the source of our attunement to the divine. When you are in a flow state, science calls it a flow state. I call it the subconscious, but science calls it the flow state. When the subconscious has been made conscious, which is why it is a flow, because you are literally tapped into the waters of not only yourself, being that you're 70 to 80% water, but also the waters in the universe, right? Or our bodies are constantly being burned by the sun or by the environment. That's why they call certain foods antioxidants, because our bodies are constantly oxidizing. Oxidizing is basically burning. So our bodies are constantly burning under the weight of the sun and the weight of the universe. So the bodies are constantly oxidizing, is burning. So it's literally burning. That's why as you get older, your skin sags, depending on how you treated your body when you're younger, your skin starts to sag. You get slower, right? Bone density is not as strong, and you start basically caving in. So you're losing all your elasticity based on oxidation. So when we're making the subconscious conscious, or making conscious, making the being at one with the inner waters, when you're entering the flow state. When you're entering your flow state, it deals with the breath. Flow state is between 3 to 5 breaths a minute. Some places say 4 to 7. But maximum flow state is about 3 to 5 breaths a minute. When you are agitated, when you are upset, when you're triggered by something, your breath usually is someplace between 13 to 19 beats per minute, right? Or 19 breaths per minute. So you are inhaling rapidly, whereas when you're relaxed, you're inhaling much more slowly and taking slower breaths. Now, breath is the way you attune yourself to your subconscious. That's it. That's the key. So all the deity work, all the work with angels, demons, fairies, all the work with sigils, all the work with prayer, all the work with candles, all the work with herbs, all the work with sacrifices. You're basically trying to tune into that subconscious mind. You're trying to tune into flow state. You are trying to latch on to an electromagnetic frequency that is beyond the visible. You're tapping into the invisible. And especially since we see less than 1% of all the visible light in the universe. We see less than 1% of all the visible light in the universe. This is a fact. You can look it up. So most of what's out there is not even visible to the naked eye. We see very little. So when we're using all these tools, we're trying to tap into that. But the quickest way to tap into that is through the breath. Just through the slowing down of breathing. And one of the ways you slow down your breath, the most effective, is meditation. When you're slowing down the breath, you're breathing in and you're breathing out. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. And as you do that, eventually, over time, not the first time you meditate, maybe not the second, but after you do it a couple of times, what happens is you start to become one with the subconscious. All thoughts stop, all vision stop, and you're just in a space of darkness. You're in what they would call boredom, ultimate boredom. And in that state of mind where you're in pitch black darkness and there's no thoughts, there's no visions, you just are. You just are the I am. What it shows you is what God, the creator, is. And why humans were even created, so that the creator could experience our different things, or what you would call a different reality, right? So that the creator is not just in that darkness alone, that creator. So we are different aspects of creative force. We are different aspects of the universal womb, right, in creation. And the quickest way to access it is through breath, is through breathing. When you get into that darkness through meditation, you are literally tuning your subconscious and making it conscious. And the more that you meditate, the more you ask, the more you're able to access that darkness. And that darkness, or that dark energy that's out into the universe, is really spiritual power. Seriously, spiritual power. So all the things people talk about they want to achieve spiritually: psychic power, the ability to read minds, the ability to move things with their mind, the ability to hear other people's thoughts, the ability for clairvoyance, the ability to astral travel. There's a great movie called Dr. Sleep. I was just streaming it. I didn't finish it. I'm going to finish it probably tonight. But in Dr. Sleep shows you how astral traveling works. It shows you how telepathy works. It shows you how psychic power works. And these characters, they go into a meditative state and they go into that internal darkness that is within. Now, yes, you raising your kundalini is going to get you to the point where you're able to tap into that eternal darkness. Eating green foods, eating vegetables, eating blackberries, eating blueberries, working out, taking care of your body is going to give your body the energy so that you could tap into that, your subconscious self. You have a sympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is responsible for fight or flight. So that means if a dog just runs up to my window right now and hits the window, I'm going to jump. That's my sympathetic nervous system. My parasympathetic nervous system, which is part of my nervous system, deals with rest and digest. So that same dog could jump up, and while I do jump up, it's up to me to relax and put myself back in a restful state. Or if I take that stress in and continue stressing, I'm like, wow, another dog's coming, what am I going to do? And I'm staying worried. Now I've stayed in fight or flight. Now that sympathetic nervous system is going to seep into the parasympathetic. That parasympathetic is going to now have me scared of my window because it's what I am feeling mostly. If I put myself into the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest, now what I am accessing is the same power that is powering my red and white blood cells of fighting off disease, that is giving me energy and bringing the thoughts to my brain that are allowing them to come out of my mouth to speak to you now. That is allowing me to still hear everything, even while I'm recording, hear everything that is outside. That is taking care of all the microbes that are on my arms and hands and body, the things that I cannot see with my physical eye. That is healing my lungs, healing my throat, just taking care of my body's processes. The parasympathetic part of my nervous system that allows me to sleep, that allows me to rest, that allows me to, that filters the food and filters the toxins that are in my body, right? This is the God part of our bodies. This is why it's called the parasympathetic. This is because what do we say when things are that aren't normal, things that are outside of reality, right? We call them paranormal, right? Paranormal, because they deal with the spirit. And that's the parasympathetic. That is the part of you that deals with the spirit. One part of you deals with the physical world, and there's another part of you that deals with the spirit. It's just like we have a body, right? But we know that even our brain is just a steering wheel, but it's really mind. Mind moves muscle. Mind moves muscle, not the other way around. Muscle doesn't move mind. Mind moves muscle. So our mind is what powers this whole temple. Our spirituality, our subconscious is what powers this whole temple. Our subconscious is what developed us, what raised us from boys to men, from girls to women, right? To see a child go from crawling to walking. This is all part of our parasympathetic nervous system. This is all part of our breath, which is spirit. And spirit connects to everything in the universe because spirit means breath. This is why breathing exercises and why meditation is so important, because you're able to tap into that breath, slow it down, put yourself in a flow state. When we talk about flow state, we're also talking about what we see in athletics. They say when athletes, you get in the zone, right, where you can't miss, where, you might be a running back running through blocks and you can't be tackled. You're a quarterback and you're just throwing touchdowns out of nowhere. You're a basketball player. You score 60, 70 points. You're in the zone. That is the flow state. Even though you may be moving and playing sports, you are at a certain, your spirit is at a certain, your spirit has tapped in basically to the matrix. And now you're able to manipulate the matrix spiritually based on how you're viewing the world and based on your oneness in the world. Another part about spirituality, about meditation, is you realize that what matters the most is now. Not then, not what happened, not what could happen, but what's here and now. And this is what the Cometians called Orser. And the story of Orser and Heru is what's really important, because Orser got chopped up by Set, right? And Set found him, right? Put him back together and had a child named Heru. And Heru came and fought Set and defeated Set. When they defeated Set, they were able to resurrect Orser, and Orser became god of the underworld, and Heru became the god of the living world, or the hero on earth. That's where Heru, the hero on earth. And what that story means is that we have our willpower, which is our Heru, which is what we do on a day-to-day basis, the meditations, the prayers, the rituals, the sacrifices, the sigils, the deity work, the ancestral work, the candle work, so forth and so on, right? The voodoo, so forth and so on, whatever you do spiritually, right? All those things are tools to harness and utilize and raise your inner energy, inspire you, right? Inspire you, raise your vibration, raise that inner snake, that kundalini, that same coil of the, what do they call that? The caduceus. That is basically the symbol for the medical field. And we're trying to raise that same energy within us, make that energy spiral up. And the way we do that, the way we get into that flow state, is by going into meditation. And again, meditation will bring you into that darkness. And that darkness is connective. You could feel when you're in that dark state in meditation, you could feel everything that's connected to you. And then you tap into, and then what happens is after you do it over and over and over again, you tap into certain spiritual powers, whatever's meant for you and whatever you will be responsible for. And also in that meditative state, everything that you see in that meditative state is real. So when you first start meditating, before you get into that flow state during the meditation, because it takes time, it's not something that happens right away. It may take you months before you're able to get into that pure darkness state of meditation. But it does happen, and it will happen. And millions of people are meditating. So I'm not just saying this. But the goal is to be in the moment. Not to think of what money you're going to get into the future. Not to think of what home you're getting into the future, not to think of what great relationship you're going to have in the future, not to think of what great career, what great job you're going to have into the future. But when you meditate, for you to be in that situation now, for you to be in that moment now, this second, so that reality is real, because your spirit doesn't have a limit in time. Nothing dies. Nothing dies. Everything just changes form or shape. We're all energy at the end of the day. So nothing dies. Just changes shape or form. Energy can't die. So if nothing dies, then our energy continues on. And our energy continues propagating other things. So what type of energy do you want to put out into the universe while you are here with hands and feet to create? Right? The hero story is one of the hero, the one that is courageous, the one that follows principles and laws over what the wicked follows, the one who helps people raise themselves up to become better people. That's what Jesus is. Jesus is ultimately a hero. He healed the sick, he healed the poor, and he saved people, and he overturned the tables of the money changers. Jesus is ultimately a hero. It's a hero story. But that hero, or that hero, is powered by Osir. And Osir is a representation of our subconscious, our intuition, our inner self, our gut. Intuition is being tapped into your gut energy. That's why women, when they have babies in the uterus, right, it's a womb energy. So that energy is still gut, it's still intuition. So the same place where we can learn to breathe and do breathing exercises to get in tune with this very moment that we are in right now, or that very moment when you start meditating, and for you to get to a point where you could lose yourself in time and become one with anything that you want to become one with in the universe, any dream, any aspiration, and then to see it manifest in real life. That's the beauty of it. When you meditate on something, and you're visualizing something, and you're creating something in your imagination during meditation, then you see it manifest in real life. That's the crazy part. And that's the part that's not reality. Reality is pushed on us so much that we don't realize that the real reality is our imagination. Everything that's created by hands and feet comes from someone's imagination. Everything that's not strictly from nature or strictly from the ground, like an animal or a herb or a tree, is created by someone's imagination. Everything. But our imagination comes from within. It doesn't come from without. We can be inspired by something that's outside of us, such as a speaker, or someone that's talented, or a film or a play or some art or some music that inspires us. But ultimately, it's us that has to make that walk. We have to be our own hero. We have to have a set of principles to stand on. And Kemet, the set of standards, was Ma'at. It was Ma'at. And Ma'at is basically what you sow, you will reap. That's it. Has nothing to do with, if you're hungry and you steal a piece of bread and get away with it, you're going to be punished. No. Because you're not sowing bad seed. You're trying to survive. Different energy. Now, if you are rich as hell and you're just going, or you have everything you need and you're just going stripping people that don't have it, then the energy, what you reap, what you sow, you'll reap. That's all. The law of cause and effect. That's all it is. Not karma. It's the law of cause and effect. What you reap, you'll sow. And those are the limitations, right? There's limitations within our so-called freedom or free will. There's limitations. You can only use free will so much, right? We say this universe is an illusion, and it is, because everything that we see in this universe is just interpreted by it's just electrical signals interpreted by our brains. Everything is just electrical signals interpreted by our brains. So we want to get to the point where we're in tune with those electrical signals. We're in tune with spirit. We're in tune with our breath. Spirit means breath. Spirit comes from spire. Look it up. Look up the etymology of the word spirit. I didn't make it up. It means to breathe. So if you want to get in tune with spirit, all you have to do is go into your breath. Go into your breathing. That is the science of the name Amen Ra. Amen is that rest and digest, that parasympathetic nervous system, that peace that is within, that peace that no one can disturb. Because no matter what you're going through, you could always go into rest. You could always go into that state of peace. You could always relax yourself. You could always find music. You could always light a candle. You could always go to a place where maybe there's water, go into nature, but you could always find peace. It's up to you to find it, no matter what you're going through. Even if you got to burn a split, shit, you could always find peace. You know? You could always find a way to cope with life. Or you could stress. You could get in a fight or flight. You could stress and you could worry. You could get tense, you know? And that just, we see what that does to people. They age faster. They get sick faster. They don't think on their feet, you know? People don't want to be around them. People don't want to help them because they're always angry. They're always fussing. They're always miserable because they're constantly in a state of stress. So we have to really ask ourselves, what are we doing this thing, spiritual thing for? Are we doing it just to get some money? Are we doing it just to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Are we doing it, you know, just to achieve a goal? When we achieve that goal, we're done with it. Because this is really about tapping into ancient primordial energy, high frequency energy, high level energy, and being at one with it. And the way to control it is through the gut, through the belly, through the breath. And everything else is just a tool to everything else that surfaces from that, from us being at one with God, at one with the universe, at one with dark energy, and at one with dark matter. Anything, any other form of light that comes out of that is a blessing. Even if you're challenged, it's a blessing. Because that challenge, it's like fighting a boss in a video game. You beat that boss, you level up, you go to a next level. You beat another boss, you go to a next level. And that's what the challenges of life, that's what the challenges of life are for. You know? What they say, God don't give you nothing that you can't handle. And whether you believe in God, and when I say God, I'm not talking about like something that's outside of myself. When I meditate, I experience God. I am one with God. I am one with the universe. I am one with the creative force. I know where it comes from. I know it's simply pure blackness. And that out of that blackness comes everything else that's in the universe. That's also what science tells me too. That the universe is primarily darkness. Less than 4% of the universe is visible. Or is even matter. The rest is dark matter and dark energy. So tapping into that dark energy is where the power is. In order for us to get that power from within ourselves, we got to start meditating. We got to start going in. We got to start appreciating silence. We got to start appreciating no TV, no music, no radio. We got to start looking at our phones when we're walking someplace, looking at our phones every time we're in the car. There's all sorts of distractions out here nowadays. The biggest distractions is in our pockets. And these distractions, as time is going and as the universe is growing, because the universe is going to grow no matter what, with you or without you. Time is going to pass, people are going to grow, and more people are going to start getting superpowers. Like Finding Dion, like the black girl in Dr. Sleep. Go watch Dr. Sleep if you didn't watch Dr. Sleep. If you want to stream it, find some place and stream it. Very deep movie. Very deep movie. About energy and how energy could be harnessed and how to tap into this energy so we can get our superpowers back. We have the superpowers. And when I say we, I'm talking about all the ancient Kemites, the ancient Africans, as you say. We have the superpowers. We taught the world the superpowers. That's where the superheroes come from. It comes from us with the superpowers. How you think the pyramids were built? They still don't know how the pyramids were built. Why? Because we had superpowers to build them. We had superpowers to build them. It's the only thing that makes sense. We had superpowers to build them. And that's what all those things on the wall, all that eye of Ra is telling you to tap into your third eye, tap into your spiritual power, tap into your emotional vehicle. Control that breath, tap into that energy, and visualize what you want, see what you want, create in that darkness, and it shall become. I've seen it happen too many times in my own life. So let's use this eclipse energy wisely. Let's use this new moon energy wisely going into this weekend. Rob Black Storm, I know this was kind of long, but I hope I made sense, because we really got to stop playing games out here, and we using a lot of these tools and acting like the tool is the thing when we are the thing. It's not the tool. It's not the candle. It's not the herb. It's not the spell. It's not the sigil. We are the thing. We have to get in line with who and what we are. And what we are is dark energy. What we are is dark matter. That's the core of what we are. And from darkness comes the light. From imagination comes creation. Everything that was created came out of imagination. Even in this planet, it's someone's imagination. You could say God's imagination, but it gotta be, because everything is in order. Everything came out of chaos into order. There's a food cycle. You know what I'm saying? Dogs don't eat cats. They might hate each other, but they don't eat each other. But a lion will eat a motherfucking, well, I don't even know if a lion will eat a cat. But I think a lion will eat a cat if it's desperate enough. But I don't think a cat will eat a lion. You understand? There's certain things. Snakes don't eat lions, you know? Lions don't really fuck with snakes. But a snake will eat a rat. So everything has, in nature, everything has order. In humans, though, we're the only people that go this according to our nature. And that's because there's been, think about when you're a kid, when you're born as a child. When you're born as a child, you come out of the womb. You come out of the womb feeling great, right? You come out of the womb, you're a child. Everything is wondrous. You're happy. You're willing to learn. You don't feel stress. You don't feel worry. You don't feel distraction. You just feel good about being a kid. You want to run around and play, and everything is just beautiful and wonderful to you. Then all of a sudden there's distractions. There's parenting sometimes that limits and put blocks on you. There's situations that happen in life that could put limits and blocks on you. You know, there's negative programming from TV, from media, from radio, from schooling, right? The programming of our psyche and of our conscious mind, taking our conscious mind instead of into the subconscious, into focusing on just the conscious and what we are seeing with our two eyes, instead of focusing on what we see with this eye and making this eye more powerful than this eye, because we know from this eye comes everything that could be seen in this eye. This is why the Indians were able to rain dance, because through intuition, they knew which rhythms to program in their spirit in order for them to keep dancing and producing rain. But these people were in tune with the subconscious. There are people that meditated as well. There are people that pray. There are people that chant. There are people that did ritual. They are people that follow nature, that followed astrology. You got to do these meditations along with following astrology, along with following new moons, full moons, equinoxes. See where the planets are in your chart. Have an astrologer that you could trust, or learn to do astrology yourself. Learn how to read your own chart. Even better. Learn how to read your own chart. And let's start getting in tune with nature, because nature is designed to help man manifest things, to help man become great, to help man become God. But if you're going disaccording to nature, going disaccording to spirit, going disaccording to the darkness that is within, that is the same darkness that is with that outside in the universe, then we're going to have a rough time here, especially going into 2020 and beyond. Because the gods is coming, the gods are being born. The superpowers, people are coming. It's not a game. People are going to be reading people with no tarot cards whatsoever. People are going to be levitating shit with no tarot card, nothing. People are going to be planting ideas in people's minds and reading people's minds and levitating things. This is what's happening because this is what the universe is doing. This is why all these eclipses are popping up. All this moon energy. The moon is reflective energy, but the moon deals with the subconscious mind. If you deal with your tarot cards, the moon deals with your subconscious. And the moon does what? Pulls water from the body. It pulls the tide on the ocean the same way it's pulling the tide from your body, pulling that energy out into the universe. So let's use this time, especially this upcoming week and weekend, to figure out why are we tuning into spiritually? What do we want to really create? What do we want to really manifest? What is our glory out here in the universe? What is the glory? What is your glory to God? What does that look like? What is your glory to humanity? What does that look like? What does that look like on you? Your glory to God may be you being fly, being in a 10-bedroom mansion and helping tons of people. Your glory to God might not be that. It might be a nice little apartment, you know what I'm saying? Maybe nursing, maybe writing, maybe making music, maybe making art, maybe helping people learn real estate, maybe helping people learn how to do their taxes, maybe people learn how to start small businesses, maybe showing people how to, function on the internet, how to market themselves on the internet, whatever skill you have, whatever your heart's yearning is. Tap into that darkness and create it, because we all need it. We need you. I need you. The universe needs you. We need you. All spirituality is being of service. How can you be of service? What can you be of service to? Everybody who's a billionaire is servicing somebody. Jeff Bezos learned how to service people to get books to them faster. Steve Jobs learned how to put music on a small piece of computer software to put enough songs on a drive and put it on a portable piece of software, a portable piece of hardware, I should say, right? Put it on software and then put that on some hardware called iPhone. How are you going to be of service for 2020 and beyond? What are you going to do? What is your purpose? What purpose are you serving here on earth? Where's your spirit leading you to? What are you creating in that darkness of your mind on a day-to-day basis? Or is it filled with Cardi B? Is it filled with LeBron James? Is it filled with Deshaun Watson? Is it filled with, you get my point, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok? What are you filling it with on a religious basis, on a daily basis? Peace, power, prosperity, Rob Blackstorm Watson. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know this was long. Like, share, subscribe. And I hope this message meets you in good spirits. Peace.